From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Hello.
It looks exactly
Hello.
as if we were watching with a corpse.
Oh, there you are. I was afraid for a moment that you had forgotten our appointment.
Good evening. This is Sergeant X. They say that ghosts and the like just don't exist.
You remember me, don't you? I'm your host on behalf of the makers of Carter's Pills. And you're to be my guest tonight in the mysterious circle of the inner sanctum.
Unless you think more of a large fat fee than you do of your life, I advise you to throw up the case at once.
Apparently, we don't look at this in the same light, Mr. Dalrymple. I expect danger, and I'm prepared to meet it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Well, you know what? I'll take it today because today is a special episode. In fact, it's so special. Let's go right into a voicemail here.
Hey, man alone, it's me, SaintSolo. So today is June 18th, my friend. Happy birthday.
A few days ago.
I'm very thankful that you were born. Because you're my favorite place on YouTube.
It's very kind.
You helped me a lot. Helped me expand my horizons mentally and creatively. Creatively?
That
Yeah.
works.
Anyway, just wanted to say happy birthday, man, and I hope you're having a good time. Hope you get to spend time with all of your friends and family, and it's just that it's a great day for you. All right, man. Thanks a lot.
So, thank you so much, SaintSolo, and I have to give a special shout out to SaintSolo, who has been a really supporter. Literal supporter, even at times, not when I've told him repeatedly to please stop sending me YouTube tips, he still supports it, supports the channel, and you know, the tips are, well, they're fantastic and they always get put to good use. It started the SaintSolo scholarship program, which is used to reward those with excellent voicemailing skills. But I just have to say, you know, even more so than that, just sticking with me since the start of it all means a lot. So that's why we're going to make sure that SaintSolo now has an honorary SaintSolo bunny rabbit sticker here that will be placed on the Man Alone Sanctuary. There we go. As for you, man, thank you so much. Your support, it means everything to me. It really does. It's incredible. Thank you. So it is. Yeah, it's my birthday, and I figured that for my birthday, I'd have a real indulgent episode. I was supposed to not record at all this weekend. My birthday was Thursday, and I said, you know what, I'm going to take the weekend off through Sunday. And I just couldn't do it because as soon as I was like, I need a break, and then I got the break, and then I was like, wait a minute, I kind of like doing that stuff. And then I started getting all these ideas for stuff I wanted to talk about. And so really today is going to be a real pressure valve. You're just going to get so much stuff all in one episode here that it's going to be overwhelming. It's you're going to feel sick. This is by the end of this video, you're going to feel sick to your stomach. You're going to be sick of me. You're never going to watch this channel again. And that is what I call the Man Alone Promise. So, you know, I'm doing a little painting here, listening to some voicemails, and we're going to open some birthday goodies as they come up. Maybe some of these voicemails will like remind me of birthday stuff. Let's check this one out. Okay. Oh yeah. This was one we got the other day.
Hey, Man Alone. This is Zach from Ohio. Just wanted to, sorry, got distracted by my dog. But hold on, I might need to call you back.
All right, so that was the first one from Zach from Ohio. And there was a continuation of it.
Hey, Man Alone. This is Zach from Ohio. First off, just really love your videos. You're definitely one of the most entertaining of the SoloRPG YouTubers I've seen.
The only entertaining one.
And I'm definitely new to the hobby, and still haven't really even played my first solo session yet.
That comes year 3.
I've had a background playing D&D with in group settings. But my $25 question would be, how do you get out of the rut of research into different RPGs and buying RPGs and actually sit down and play them? If you have any tips for that, because that is definitely something I have caught myself getting into with having a couple months now of being really excited to play and not actually playing, and definitely spending more time watching videos and reading about RPGs rather than actually playing them. So that's my $25 question to you. And anyway, just
All right, so great question, and I don't know what. There's one more from the same number 20 minutes later, so I guess we'll just check that really quick, see if there's anything extra added.
Hey, Man Alone. Sorry to leave so many voicemails, but just wanted to say, just in case, my YouTube handle is at Zach.
Okay, we'll stop there. So it's very clear that Zach wants to win that $25. You know, it was 3 voicemails, which, 3 voicemails. Can I include the data from all 3 of those? I'm not sure, but we'll give you an honorable mention, Zach. So go ahead and email me at amanalone@proton.me, where also right there, everyone, you see how to leave a voicemail yourself, 856-818-3904. Just a voicemail box. No one's going to pick up. So, Zach, I'll give you a participation trophy. We'll send you a copy of Flint, my solo RPG Oracle for Cairn 2nd Edition, or any game you'd like. But I'll tell you what, Zach, you also, if in the next 7 days, before you email me for that, if you email me in the next 7 days, and you tell me what game you solo played and how your session went, I'll also throw in a $10 drive-through RPG gift card for you as well. But I mean, it's a good question, but it's also a question that has an obvious answer, right? I mean, it's like one of those things where when people say, oh, I have a really hard time managing my computer use or my social media use or my internet, or I'm always, and somebody responds by saying, well, just stop using your phone so much, or like just stop, logging in. And obviously there's more to it than that, because if it were that simple, that person would have already done that. That is the obvious answer. But in a way, it's also correct, right? Like the only thing that ever finally stopped me from breaking the spell of my social media accounts, and I literally went through withdrawals, I've enumerated on here before, was finally just deleting all of it. I didn't do any goodbye tours or anything. It was just poof, gone. So it is stupid advice to say just stop logging in, but it's also in a way correct, right? And by the way, I had to just stop and put this together and paint it because it was way too distracting for me to try to do both at the same time. But mid-level miniature painters rise up. Yeah, so, but there is something more, right? There's something else that it feels like really difficult to move over the threshold of just like appreciating or liking, the idea of it and actually doing it. I saw a post on Reddit recently, it might have been today or yesterday, and basically it was a question of the same sort of like species, and the question was, there's so much solo RPG stuff, which even 2 or 3 years ago that would have not been the case. But I think, it's good. I think it's good that we're getting support for the type of gaming we like to do, not just as an afterthought. But they said, there's so much stuff out there, and especially like using Mythic GME, you can pretty much solo anything, etc. So, how do you move from just, or I guess, how do you choose like what to actually follow through and play with instead of just being buried by all those decisions? And I think too much decision is the same as indecision in a way, because I think for me, your mileage may vary, but for me, when I'm unable to do something that I know is something that I want to do, I have to admit that something about my behaviors and my values are out of alignment, right? I have to admit to that, because otherwise I'm going to be stuck in the land of like making excuses. And the land of making excuses is a weird place. Sometimes you fall into the land of making excuses, you don't even realize it. Like, for instance, sometimes when I'm putting off making a video, I will rearrange my desk 5,000 times. Like, even this, to stop here with this sort of like crooked, took a lot. And so, once you catch yourself and you say, I'm in the land of indecision, what's going on here? I want to do this thing. I want to pursue this hobby, but I'm not doing it. And whether that's because I'm sitting here in the land of indecision, of, not able to motivate myself, or the land of indecision. Well, I guess I'm not able to motivate myself because there's too many choices, or I'm not able to motivate myself because like I have a hard time sitting down and committing to it. Either way, it's the land of indecision. And so once you figure out what it is that separates that value from that action, I think the closest cognate I can come up to, and I don't think this is a very good, I think this is a very bizarre example, but it's one of those things where it's like a problem that you just try to give, the same advice in different ways because maybe something will stick. And so here's just another way that I have thought of it. I have a really good friend who is a marriage and family therapist. This is a person who was like born to take on this role. And, being very good at something like that, people always want to know, what sort of truths have you gleaned about, relationships, and what is what's the reason people get divorced, or like, what's the biggest pet peeve or whatever. And I try not to give into those curiosities, but they're very real human curiosities. And so we were talking one time and I said, what is the excuse that men have most often for infidelity? And she was like, well, most of them, they have at home, they have this woman that they love, and they, but that woman is also now like the mother of their children, and they also represent the person that they are sort of like the business partner of in terms of managing the household, and they have public personas, and they have cleaning to do, and they have social events on the weekends to do, and they have problem, you know, their wife has problems with her sister, and you have to hear about the conflict with her and her sister again. And, you know, maybe she's not always dressed like she was for your first date, etc. Right? And then you meet this other person who has none of that. That person, you don't have a mortgage with them. They're not wearing like rolled up sweatpants. They're not criticizing you for the way that you don't stand up for them with their mother. You know, they're not asking you if you remembered to do the thing that you forgot. And then when you say no, they don't even get mad anymore. They just like exhale and shake their head as if like, what is wrong with you? And so you have that at the house, and then you have this other person who just makes you feel good because this person gets all the gravy and none of the grief. And for the people who actually do separate from their partners and leave them for this other person, she said almost universally this person regrets it because one of two things happens. Number one, and maybe this is fairly obvious, I don't know. So number one, that person becomes that burden, right? Now you're seeing that person with rolled up sweatpants, and now you have a home with that person, and now maybe you're having kids, or maybe they have an ex and you're dealing with that, and or that person has nothing in common with you and it was a purely physical thing or whatever it is. And so that makes the guy be like, oh man, what have I done? Or on the other hand, maybe they do you know, leave their spouse and go live with this other person. And by the way, I'm sure this happens to other, you know, like men and women equally. This is the example that I asked for and got. And the other thing then is that they are then living this carefree life with this person, often younger, and they're doing these things that they used to do when they were 25, and they get a haircut and they get something cringe, their ear pierced or something. And then suddenly they realize that like these responsibilities that they were evading were not just responsibilities. They were also like their daughter's taekwondo tournament that they didn't get asked to go to because it would upset her too much, or like you know, the block party that was such a pain to help plan for is happening now, and you'd really just like to go hang out with your neighbor who you play horseshoes with or whatever. Like these things that are obligations are also the things that like happiness is constructed from. And I think that in a way, when you have the wrapping paper, or the shrink wrapped game set, when you have the game on the shelf, when you have the game that you just purchased, it's on the way, when you kickstarted it, it's like that other woman. You know, it's perfect. It asks nothing of you. It's the most awesome game. It's got the most awesome features. It's new, right? It's exciting. It's novel. And then you look at, you know, Scarlet Heroes, and you're like, oh, come on. These pages are all dog-eared, and I've been playing this system, and, you know. And then you leap over to that system, and it's not what you thought, right? But here's the thing: is you're saying you haven't even leapt to that system, right? And so in that way, it still is though this like hanging on to the idealized version of it, because once you move away from the idealized version of like what this game represents versus what it takes to create this game. Well, now it's not just enjoyable. Now it's work. Now it's like, oh, now I've got to like use oracles, and I've got to roll dice, and I've got to figure out the rules, and then I got to forget the rules overnight, and then I got to learn them again. And then it turns out that like I don't have this part of it, and I need to maybe get that, or maybe I need to settle for just having the PDF for it, or maybe I don't have just the right, you know, branded dice or whatever. But if you move through that, then you get like happiness. You get, well, if this is a hobby for you, you get a sense of fulfillment, rightness, fullness. you know, before I made this video today, I play Korg all the time, but I played Dungeon Solitaire because it's been sitting literally like for a year just under my desk. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll do a video on that. And then I had to be like, no, I just want to play it. And I did. And it was great. It was actually really fun. Different than the stuff I do on this channel usually, but like it was just fun. And you have to do that stuff because the first 20 minutes of that didn't feel good, as I had to learn how to do it from the instructions that were a little imprecise. But then actually, as I started reading them, I'm like, okay, these are pretty good. The first 2 or 3 sessions sometimes of a game are no good. But then you get to this place, I want to say Beyond the Pines so bad, so I'll just say, you get to this place Beyond the Pines, and suddenly you're like, yeah, this isn't pleasurable, but it's way more fulfilling and way more intriguing and way more illuminating, right? Because here's, I think, and I don't know what sort of gaming background, if any, you come from, but I think that a lot of people are in search of this experience that they can't find because ultimately they like the idea of solo role-playing because it represents a sort of intellectual project that is more refined, potentially more intellectually nourishing, more mature than just laying there playing video games. But they will keep looking for the system until they find the video game. And it's really hard to find the video game. In terms of even like card-based games, the video game version of that is Uno. It's not worth it, right? You just play the video game and don't feel bad about it. So I'm not saying that's your situation. I'm just saying that is what people look for sometimes. These are not video games. They are books. And it's the same thing. Everything I just said is the same thing as it is with reading books. BB is a reader. BB reads like, sometimes I can't even believe it. She'll read like 3 books a week. In order to do that, she reads all the time. If there is a moment of silence, she will pull a book out of her back pocket and just start reading it. That's what it is to be a reader. And she gets all the benefits of being a reader. But you cannot take all the gravy and none of the grief. But yeah, don't cheat on your spouse, don't cheat on your games. Let's actually, in order to sort of make sure that we have a little bit of fun, not saying these aren't fun voicemails, but I don't know how they'll be. I wanted to unbox something I got today. This is Survivors of the Core Wars, which I've been really looking forward to once I realized, or shall I say, remembered that I was getting it, because I forgot that I was getting it for like a year. And then I got a thing that was like, hey, lock in your address. And I was like, oh, yeah. I remember thinking that I didn't love the art style. It is Space Penguin Inc., which I generally like their stuff. Some of it could be a little bit too on the nose, but I remember thinking I don't love the art, but these are NPC cards for Mothership. So let's see what it looks like in person, because sometimes art's really vivid. Even the cover, though, I'm like, interesting. Like, what is that? But that said, I remember thinking, well, the art isn't exactly what I wanted, but like the cards are great. And especially for Mothership, wanting to just have these NPCs on hand. The Warden's Guide, Survivors of the Core Wars. Oh, okay. So this makes a little bit. So this is the different relationships. I see. So the Core Wars. Yeah. See? Okay. Yeah, this is actually really cool. Look at these cards. Wow. Look at that. Wow, am I just going against everything I just told Zach? Look at that. Wow. These are nice and big. So down here is all their different like factions, and then this book here says like the relationships between them. Cool. Yeah, some of these are on point, and some of them I'm like, I don't know how serious it takes it, but these look really nice. And the quality. So what's on the? Oh wow, look at this! Like a full, well, not a full, but like a total NPC sheet. Cool. Hey. All right. Well, hey, that's great. I get it. I like it. Who made this? I know a Space Penguin. Christian Kessler, Boson Owl. Very cool. Cool stuff. Can't wait to use it. Seriously, this is that means Mothership is coming up soon. I have to continue that Desert Moon of Karth campaign. All right, let's listen to another one here.
Hey, Man Alone. My name's Michael. Thanks for taking my call. I guess I just wanted to talk into the void a bit about creativeness with solo RPGs. And I suppose what I'm talking about is I play solo RPGs, mostly the kind that are just roll and read a table in a sense, like 2D6 Dungeon, D100 Dungeon, Kernathala, stuff like that. I'm not quite a fan of journaling RPGs, but to be honest, I haven't really given it a fair shot, so maybe I'll like it, but they don't appeal to me at the moment. But what do I like out of these RPGs? Mostly that sense of wonder and what's around the next corner, right? I love rolling the dice or flipping the cards to see what's going to be there. And as a creative person myself, normally when I'm into something, I like to create said thing. I used to be a professional musician. I still do it as a hobby. I'm a software developer now, it can be quite a creative endeavor, but, program games here or there, all these different kinds of things. But I'm having trouble creating the experiences that I'm looking for in a solo RPG. And I think the problem is that the thing that I'm looking for in an RPG, a solo RPG, is that sense of wonder and unknown and discovery. And no matter how hard you try, you can't really hide that from yourself when you're creating, let's say, every table. I'll never be able to play the game I create or experience the experience I'm trying to create because I'm creating it. And it's quite different from when I made music, because I would say I'm my music's biggest fan because I made music I like to listen to. And to me, I could experience that over and over and over again, because it's not quite the same type of thing, right? You're not necessarily discovering a song for the first time. You're just kind of enjoying the vibe. So yeah, I guess my question is how do you, or do you experience the same thing, but how do you get over that creative hump of I'm trying to create this experience that I can't really ever do myself? I guess it's more of a non-selfish thing where like, hey, here's this cool idea I have, everyone else can experience it, and maybe the experience at that point is hearing people talk about it, or granted, probably no one will ever see it anyways, but
Stop.
Anyways, yeah, rambling into the void at this point, but to tie it all together, how do you create experiences that you want to do yourself but can't inherently due to being the creator? All right, thanks. Bye.
Really, really good question. I have had this right here for about 2 years. Will you believe it? That the very first solo RPG I ever tried to create, called Someone Else Is Here, which I still will create one day. By the way, I think it was really cool. You're in a house and somebody else is there, and they're just moving as you move. It had a Ouija board resolution. Now, I hate the word Ouija, and the Spirit board by Paranormic was $20 less. And so this is the first time I'm ever actually opening it. Oh yeah, Spirit. You know it's powerful because it says Spirit. Okay. From Ohio. So this was the in someone else's there is here. This was the resolution system I wanted to use. You believe that? And the only issue is, actually pause this for a second to move the box out of the way. All right. So the only problem, well, what is the problem, Michael? Why isn't this a resolution? Why can't you use this? I mean, come on, it's a Spirit board, right? So how is it different from rolling the dice? Yes, it's true. I figured out the problem here is that I can't not know where my fingers are going. Yes? All right. This was like devastating to me. I never even opened the box, you see. I just am opening it now. Things moved on. Since then, I started and failed the game She Is Your Queen. One day I will complete that game. Then there was the game that was a sort of Lovecraftian settlement game. They Will Destroy Us. One day I'll finish that. Actually, I was working on that the other day. And then there was the Museum of Human Consciousness. Humankind. Never finished that. But, you know, you're right. Especially given the types of games that you say that you like, right? Because let's just bring it in focus. You don't have a Graveyard of the Gods. This is a Mothership Zen, right? This is not even a solo game. It's just like a setting right here. But even so, this is a game that gives you information and it gives you some tables to use. But other than that, setting, right? But other than that, you have to use different tools to create the events, resolution, etc. You more are a Harpers Quest guy, right? Harpers Quest is, let's see, there's going to be some stuff might have, like you're going to create different configurations of rooms, right? And, you know, actually, Harpers Quest sort of splits the difference in a small way in that there is some tables that, and there's this actually very powerful oracle here. But generally you're going to use that oracle to populate the rooms and stuff like that, right? There's not going to be necessarily like an arc of gameplay any more than what can happen. You got quest prompts here, but you're probably going to you're probably going to have to resolve most of those problems by going into whatever setting it is. And actually this is an expansion of the original one, and now has dungeon, castle, mine. So Harper's Quest is pretty cool. But I think the issue, and I've talked about this before, is that if I were to start at page 1, of Harpers Quest and read every page. How many pages are there? 35. I would know every single thing that could happen in Harper's Quest, right? Or like 2d6 Dungeon, 4 Against Darkness. Those are games that have a finite level of configurations and outcomes. And those are the games you like playing, and you want to customize a game for yourself. But it's the problem of like, how do I create a game that I will enjoy? Well, I mean, in a way, what I've realized over time is that, you know how I was like, oh, I can't use this for solo play because I know that I'm the one moving it. That's what happens when two people use it as well, right? They just pretend that somebody else is moving it. I mean, look, I'm sure that this spirit board made in Ohio is, thrice blessed with eldritch magic. But, unless somebody is trained in the proper use of the Ohio spirit board, I'm pretty certain that it's just the two people who are there pretending there's a third person. And so I think probably there has to be some point of outlet. There has to be some point that you let somebody else in. And so if you don't feel like you would be satisfied and fulfilled by creating games for others, that's fine. Like, I'm not saying you're selfish or anything like that. I think it's good to know what you like and what you don't like. I personally have found that in creating things for others, it has helped with my own creative stagnations, and it has also invited lots of creativity to flow back to me. It's kind of like when I was little and I would cry because I never got any mail. I was like 5. I remember crying, and my mom was like, "You don't write mail to anybody." And so she had me start just writing letters to people who lived on the street, and they would write back. And so there are different ways to let other people into your games. You can play cooperatively, right? You can play solo and talk about it. You could create games and make them for others. Or you can create games with others. But the game is not the game anymore, right? The game has to change. Like, the game or the source of fun now has to move to the higher level up. And this is one of the things I think that a lot of people right now are struggling with. I don't want to make this too broad, and I'm certainly not, I don't know you personally, but I think a lot about stuff from our childhood that we feel betrayed about because it's getting changed in the cultural mimetic churn. And I think there is a lesson in some of that, which is that, I think I generally am somebody who falls on the side of it's important to protect stories. It's important to protect the pieces of stories that were made by the gradual turning of the wheel of humanity. But at the same time, it's also time for me to let some of that go, because I have gift giving is definitely my love language. I love getting gifts. I got some great gifts this birthday. But giving gifts is even better. And that's a happiness that I only found when I kind of let go the need to get the gift. So I think that if you're a person who can enjoy something vicariously through the enjoyment of another, and you're still somebody though that wants to play, I recommend that you reach out and see if somebody will exchange created games with you. I have long thought about the solution to the problem of like playing pre-generated games. So, for instance, this is Pestilence at Haleth Vorn, and it's a like level 6 to 8 for Gunder. What is it? Gunderholfen. And I just, I love these very simple mega dungeons. And what I have thought about is an exchange. Maybe I should make this on the Discord, where you say, I want to play Gunderholfen. And if somebody else has a dungeon or an adventure that they want to play, if you go through and like cross out certain words for me, then I'll do the same for yours. Does that make sense? Like each of these secret alcoves holds a white. Now in solo play, white, WIGHT, I guess the whites, that was something that I think they called the singular White Walkers in the Ice and Fire books. So it's like a zombie, right? As a solo player, I don't want to know that. And so, like, I would, if I was the person preparing this document for somebody, I would, like, redact that so that they can peel that off in a PDF file or whatever when they were ready to. Anyways, look, I hated the movie Into the Wild, and I still wonder why I hated that movie so much, whether it was, like, because it was a spoiled brat going into the nature to die because his parents didn't tell him all of their business, or if there was like something in me when I saw that where I had a bad reaction to it because I had like rebelliousness in me that I was too cowardly to express in the way that character did. I still don't know, and I don't care anymore because that rebelliousness in me is gone. But I do remember the quote at the end was really powerful, which is, happiness is not happiness unless it is shared. And so solo play is a community endeavor, and it has to be shared. So I don't know really what my conclusion is, but hopefully in all that something helped. Speaking of, just a great example of that, check out my new tarot deck here. And this is created by a member of the SEAL Team Waffle Alpha, the Discord server for this channel, featuring illustrations by Jason Glover. They weren't done for this tarot deck. They were just lovingly arranged by a friend of the channel, Carmilla. Just a tarot deck here that has the Jorma. That one, absolutely gorgeous. And I printed all of these out, and my printer, I cut one of them wrong. I think it was the Priestess. Oh, these are so good. They're just for personal use. We're not selling Jason Glover's art. Which one was it? See, this is good if I can't tell, but I can tell. I promise you I can tell. Because one of them, I only got half of it printed out, and then I went to print again, and my cartridge ran out of ink, and I was like, oh, no. So I had to draw in. I had to draw in, like, it only printed to here. It's so, what do you think? Did I? Probably could have done a little better there. But this is, what an amazing, amazing gift. Thank you. So yeah, happiness is multiplied when it's shared. And so, obviously, when things don't go your way, just take all the money your parents gave you and donate it and eat a poisonous, I'll be right back. The other thing is alchemization, and this is something where I was using Vox Profunda, which I created. Now I know this isn't the type of game you're talking about, but this was something I think I had a 5 of hearts or a 5 of diamonds that I pulled, and it was like an NPC that was like a craftsman looking on at something with a flower. And I remember that the final scene was this florist who was in love with a princess who was looking at his flowers on her wrist in like a corsage. And I was like, I want to get into that character's head because I was doing active imagination. And in his head it said, I will never know the touch of her hand upon my face, but seeing the Lily of the Valley wrapped around her wrist is closer to love than I will ever have ever known. So, I mean, I wrote everything in Vox Profunda, but I still alchemized that into something else. All right. So thank you again, SaintSolo. Thank you again, Michael. Thank you again, Zach. And please, if you also would like to call in, everybody who left this is the promo code. That's correct. Man Dice Alone. I have all my Dice Nest. I didn't mean to click this, but absolutely get your 20% off, Man Dice Alone. I meant to click this. Leave a voicemail, please. 856-818-3904. Can everybody who left me a voicemail, can you please shoot me an email, or everyone whose voicemail was played on here today, shoot me an email. I'd like to send you a copy of Flint softcover. And we'll say because I love this game so much, if you do a voicemail, if you send me a voicemail this week and I play it on my on a video next week, I'll choose 2 people and send you a copy of Harpers Quest 2. As long as the shipping is under $20. I'm sorry if you live in like Antarctica, but technically only one of you would full time, right? Because there's only one permanent resident. Isn't it just some Russian priest? Jamais Vu I've been looking at. This is basically Disco Elysium. I have much to say about Disco Elysium, and I would like to do a whole video on it at some point. I don't know how well this system works. I read this book today. It does have this interesting system of interjections, and it does say it has solo play. The interjections are like thoughts that come up just like in Disco Elysium. The way it presents it in the examples, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's also a system of tags that you attach onto the game mechanics that provide situational bonuses. Again, I think it could be a good idea. I just have to understand it more. But there's a lot of resistance in me about playing Disco Elysium outside of Disco Elysium because it was such like a special game to me. But I'm thinking about that. Agon. So let's come back to this. But all I want to say here is that Agon is by John Harper, who does Blades in the Dark. Came out 2020. It is so different that I want to take a look at it at the end of the episode. I might do a whole episode on it because it offers a very unique. The entire system is very unique. Okay, but before that, I wanted to make sure that since it's my B-Day, the very first system that I ever played on this channel, I believe, was Star Trek Adventures. And I know because I found the notes for the video written in my notes app, and it was from like August of 2023. Captain's Log is a solo Star Trek Adventures. It's by Modiphius. It is a version of their 2D20 system, but it's very. My impression is, from what other people have said, is it's abridged from the core game. The other thing is that there's a momentum system in it that plays a big part in the core game, and you get like a momentum track. But in Captain's Log, you could only have 1 or 0 momentum. So, anyways, I was thinking about looking through this again to see if there's a way that we could juice it a bit. So I have the Star Trek Adventures box set, mostly because it is one of those things where I think it costs about the same to get the dice and the starter set than it does to like get the dice alone. Dice alone. There's Agon. Yeah, okay, we'll talk about that. Yeah, so I really do like what I did with this game originally, which is I converted it to like Warhammer 40K, and I made it an Inquisitor's Log, and I did 3 episodes of it. And I remember seeing a lot of negative feedback about the 2D20 system at Modiphius at the time. And I wasn't very good at solo playing. I'm still not very good at a lot of pieces of it, especially stuff that involves any sort of like supply chain or algorithmic operations. But I've been looking at this again, and I do think it's like an elegant system. So anyways, I wanted to explore this a little more because on Modiphius's website, they didn't give a date for this, but they announced that they're essentially making a Captain's Log for Fallout. And so I thought that we should do a playthrough of that because I think Fallout has some amazing systems that are already well implemented in solo play. PJ Soskade plays or has a Wasteland Story podcast. I've been interviewed on his Solo Role Players podcast and already solo plays this. But just like the collection of junk, the perks cards, like how well the perks cards fit into a leveling system and how easy that is. And then essentially like the whole 2D20 system is essentially choosing 2 attributes and combining them to like try to accomplish something and then rolling under whatever the calculated number of that is, right? So if you had like fitness and I don't know if this is how it works, but fitness and security, and you had like +7 and +3, you'd have to roll under 10. And then if you've played Fallout, there's 144 perk cards that you have to buy previous ones to like level them and create a build. And I love the usage of these cards because you at any time can just see exactly what's going on with your character. It's open world. It's about salvaging. It's about building. It's about wacky stuff happening, which all works really, really well for solo play. And so I might ask PJ to come and give me the to train me on how he does it and see if we can apply some of the Captain's Log rules or just take a look at the Captain's Log rules again to see is there something we can do with those to spruce them up a bit. Because I do remember something special being there. However, and that book is actually an incredible deal for how much you get in it. But it's just got a bunch of junk in there in terms like that. If you're not really interested in Star Trek, you're just not going to care. And a lot of it, like I love Star Trek The Next Generation. I've watched the whole series twice. I watched most of Deep Space Nine. And I have no interest in anything after that. Well, Enterprise was pretty good. But the stuff now is it's infuriating. See what I'm talking about? See, I gotta let it go. But there is tons and tons of lore in here, and in terms of the world building tools and stuff like that, also really excellent. Tons and tons of addendums for it. But there was something different about Star Trek Adventures, and I never knew what it was because I never like the core game, I'm saying. And so I wanted to explore the core game as well. But yeah, I think let me know if you continued playing Captain's Log and if you've played the core game of Star Trek Adventures. I'm not super interested in role-playing in the Star Trek universe. I don't know, like the J.J. Abrams movies just left like a really bad taste in my mouth. And then, honestly, the Picard show was like... I gotta let it go. I mean, I'll let it go, but can everyone can Patrick Stewart let it go? Like what? All right. So, anyways, I thought we would just take a look at this Fallout. I think I haven't even cracked open that book yet, so that'll take a lot longer. But I just wanted to see what the core game is and how it differs from the Captain's Log. Open this up without... Oh yeah, I'm supposed to unbox in front of people. Sorry, forget. All right, so everyone's on their iPhone. Ooh. I didn't think they'd all be the same color. That's disappointing. Okay. Oh, I hear tokens. I hear tokens falling out. Ah, my dice tree from Dice Nest is shedding. All right, so you have a campaign booklet, a rules booklet. See, I've gotten kind of I've warmed up to starter sets a lot because I think that a lot of times this is all I want to know about a game's rules, honestly. We got some tokens. Alert, condition red. Oh, jeez. Put this together. You know, where's it? Okay, so these are determination. I thought they were momentum. Yeah, and then the ships also have like a cool, like almost the same system as player characters do, but just with different attributes or whatever. So the USS Challenger, systems and departments. So yeah, you kind of have to figure out like if there's someone's, going to the sick bay and they're having to do some sort of like molecular surgery, you do like computers plus medicine is 10 and then roll under that. Is that like a casual Vulcan death grip? Just like, shut up. All right, some pre-mades. Yeah, I'm going to have to review how all this goes, but I really don't... Okay. I've opened it. So that's what's in it. I'm going to take a second right now and see if I can identify the main ways that it's different. Okay, really quick, I just want to say, this is 2nd edition. So I think this came out like almost exactly a year ago. And so at least last summer. And so it was different than the core edition that was out when Captain's Log was out. So it doesn't matter to you. I'll be right back. Okay, interesting. So apparently, I was you know how I have these little dice-based grievances all the time. And I was like, well, what the hell? I did know one thing about Star Trek Adventures, the first edition, was that there is, the 2d20, and then there was d6s that were challenge dice. And they were pretty confusing. And so I'm happy to hear that they're gone. And that this is a completely 2d20 resolution system. And that pretty much the big changes are getting rid of the challenge dice, streamlining combat, and making it easier to plot out different things. So I think this actually might work better, at least in terms of, what it's supposed to be versus what it is. And then there is these cards here in the starter kit that do a pretty good job of just explaining everything. But basically, it still comes down to momentum and determination. And so momentum is extra dice that you roll in an attempt to accomplish a task. And then determination is like being able to re-roll a dice. Let's see how an attack goes. Choose a weapon and target. Select the weapon you wish to attack with. You may also choose whether you intend to inflict a stun. Melee attack. Okay. Make a task attempt to see if the task is successful. So what sort of tasks do we use for... You ever been in a fight and you're like, come over here so I can do a task on you. Check out this upper task. Here's a spin task to the face. Yeah, this is minutia. Isn't this fun? Isn't this a fun YouTube video? Just sitting here watching me. Okay, so there's different things that you could spend momentum on. Should I try it? Should I wait? Should I just wait to see what Fallout? Come on, dude. I told you you can't stay here, Roger. You guys gotta go. All right, the ants are coming back. I better go. It's my birthday. Happy birthday to me. It's a special day for me. This video, I think, was pretty bad. But I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And here's to 75 more. Wouldn't that surprise you if I was 75 years old? Was anyone fooled by that? Is anyone even watching? Write in the comments below. This song's pretty good, man. Bye.